And I think Alex, it was Alex, myself, my wife Tracy, and Lou were the 4 adults that went. But Alex and I had the easy part. We only had 4 boys. They had 13 girls. But my wife loved it because, as you guys know, we have 3 boys of our own. So she got to have $13 this week. So I'm not sure she still wants it. But it was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed getting to know the kids and their different personalities. And some of the best time that we had was obviously the very best time was during the Bible study. Having them just be able to share and open up and kind of answer the questions. We've got some really, really Bible smart kids. I mean, they were just on it every time I asked a question, or Lou or whoever led the devotion would ask a question. They were just chomping at the bit, raising their hands and answering. I hope they continue with that. But they really are smart. They really do love God. They really do enjoy learning the Word. But also at mealtime, and by the way, Richard Grace has some awesome meals. The food was great. But just sitting with them and kind of hearing them talk to each other and just share different stories for the day. It was just a great time of fellowship and getting to know them. But I think also something that God really did this week was build their friendships up and really help them to come alongside each other and love on one another and just help each other, encourage each other. There was a few times we had just a little bit of argument. It was very minute, but I think it helped them to grow and to become closer and to be able to hopefully build those lifelong relationships that they can rely on each other, depend on each other in the future. So again, we did have a wonderful time, and as you guys saw, I got to wear the orange tutu. I was told that if I didn't wear that, I would never hear the end of it. So I'll probably never hear the end of it anyway, now that I did wear it. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. We didn't have the, Lou says it's the best costume. I don't know about that, but there was some there that had some crazier costumes on, and she told us we're going to wear them next year, but that's off limits. It was actually some kind of lingerie, some kind of romper or something. No, that's it. The tutu is enough. We're not going past that. Anyway, it was an amazing week, and we did have a lot of fun. But I just wanted to kind of tie a little bit of a message into the key verse for the week. But before we do that, I just want to pray real quick, and then we'll get into the verse. Father God, I just want to thank you again for the amazing trip that we had to Central Kid. God, I want to thank you for this morning, Lord, for allowing us to come and share this trip, God, and share the excitement and just the amazing time that we had, God, with the church, God, who supported us and who makes it possible. Lord, we want to just come to you at this time, God, and just ask you to bless the rest of our time together. God, speak to us through your word. Help us, God, to know you more intimately each and every day, God, to be the light that you have called us to be, God, to walk in the light, Lord, and to shine that light into the entire world, God, for your glory, your honor, and your praise. So just thank you. We ask in Jesus' name. Amen. So, again, the verse is John 8:12, and he says, Jesus spoke to the people once more and said, I am the light of the world. If you follow me, you won't have to walk in darkness, because you will have the light that leads to life. And I just want to break that verse down just a little bit and kind of, show us kind of exactly what Jesus is saying here and help us to understand exactly what God wants us to know from this verse. And so at the beginning of the verse, Jesus said, I am the light of the world. And I just want to read you part of the commentary here in my study Bible, because it was kind of puts things into perspective. It helps us to understand where Jesus is when he's saying this and why he's necessarily saying this. So it says, Jesus was speaking in the treasury, the part of the temple where the offerings were put, and where the candles burned to symbolize the pillar of fire that led the people of Israel through the wilderness in Exodus. In this context, Jesus called himself the light of the world. The pillar of fire represented God's presence, protection, and guidance. Likewise, Jesus brings God's presence, protection, and guidance to all his people. And so when he was speaking here and he was sharing this, it was in the temple and the candles were burning. And so that was representing God's presence and God's protection and guidance for the people. And Jesus was saying, I've come now, I'm the light of the world. I'm representing God's protection and God's presence and God's guidance to the people. And so in this verse, Jesus is announcing that, hey, I am the one true light. And so I just want to share this with you guys that, some of you may or may not know, but research has actually shown that the sunlight, S-U-N, the sun, causes our brains to actually release endorphins that give us energy and a sense of well-being. It lets our brains know and our body know that it's time to wake up in the morning. I experienced this firsthand this morning. Tracy likes to open the blinds during the day. We have a curtain in front of the blinds, but she likes to open them during the day and let the sun in. And this morning, or last night, she forgot to close the blinds. And so this morning, about 6:15, I could see the sun shining through the blinds, hit me in the face, hit me in the eyes. And so that sun was telling me it's time to wake up. It's time for you to get up. It's time for you to get ready and do what you have to do today. And so, but the sun, the research actually shows that the sun, that's what the sun does. It actually releases those endorphins, gives us energy, and tells our bodies that it's time to get up, it's time to go, it's time to do things. And then at nighttime, the darkness actually releases, even if you don't have gummies, melatonin into your body. And we're supposed to tell all that, by the way, Luke. But it actually releases the melatonin and tells us that it's time to relax. It's time for us to get ready for bed and go to sleep. And so, again, this just wakes our bodies up and it tells us that it's time to get up. But the sunlight, S-O-N, light, produces God's presence, protection, and guidance in our spirit, and it brings us the energy and the well-being that we need to live each day. And so I believe that's what Jesus was telling us in this verse, that he's the light of the world, that he is the light that is going to bring us the presence of God, that's going to bring us the protection of God, that's going to guide us each and every day in every situation that we go through. And so just as the sunlight that's in the sky shines and helps us to know that it's time to wake up, it's time to get ourselves together and start doing things, the sunlight, Jesus, also gives us that, and it lets our spirits know that it's time to wake up spiritually every single day. And I think, unfortunately, just as I shared from camp this week, one of the lessons I learned, one of the things that I saw was that sometimes I'm not spiritually awake during the day. I'm going about the day and I'm worried about, how am I going to get this done? How am I going to get here? Did Lou bring whatever she was supposed to bring? I love Lou to death. Our inside joke. But we're a perfect team. But I worry too much and she don't worry at all. But I go about my day and I worry about a lot of stuff. I try to figure out how we're going to get this done, how we're going to get here, how we're going to do this. And I fail to spiritually realize that God is with me, that God has everything in control, that God's presence is on me, and allow God to just work through me. And so I think we need that sunlight every day more and more from God in order to wake us up spiritually. And then the second part of the verse, Jesus says, if you follow me. And I think that's the key there. That's an if. That if means, guess what? You've got a choice. You've got a choice each day to follow Jesus, to follow that light. And, there's a lot of lights out there in this world, unfortunately, that are trying to pull us, but especially our young ones. As Lou said, we've got to start with these children, these youth, and really pour into them and really help them to know the one true light, because there's a lot of things that are threatening to pull them away from the true light. There's a lot of false light out there. There's a lot of things that are going to that the enemy is going to use to try to convince them that they don't need Jesus. They can make it on their own. They can do things that everybody else is doing. They can go and live however they want to live. Unfortunately, there's a lot of misconception out there in Christianity today that, unfortunately, a lot of people believe you just say the prayer, go to church every once in a while, and hey, you're a Christian, you're good, you're going to heaven. That's not what the Bible says. The Bible says anyone who is in Christ is a new creation. The old life is gone and the new life has begun. And so I think just being aware that there are a lot of different lights out there, and then understanding that it's a choice. Jesus says, if you follow me. And then he says, if you follow me, you won't have to walk in darkness. By choosing to follow Jesus, we don't have to walk in that darkness. Now, that doesn't mean that we're never going to face darkness. Obviously, we live in a fallen world. We live in a sinful world. We live, in a world that is, unfortunately, has a lot of issues, has a lot of problems, has a lot of things that, we encounter each and every day. Some of those things are, pain. We go through dark times of pain, depression, financial difficulties, sickness. The list can go on and on and on. We all have those things that we would call dark times in our lives that we face. But the key here is that Jesus is telling us we're not going to face these things alone. When we face the darkness, we have Jesus, we have the one true light. We don't have to face him alone. We don't have to stay in that darkness. We don't have to continue to wallow in our misery, so to speak. We have the one true light. And the wonderful thing about light is it exposes the darkness. If we turn all these lights out right now, it's going to be dark. We're going to be able to see each other a little bit just from the light coming in the stained glass windows. But it's going to be pretty dark. But as soon as we turn those lights on, it exposes that darkness. There can't be darkness and light in the same place. And so that's what Jesus is telling us, that by choosing to follow him, there may be darkness in our lives, but it's not going to overcome our lives. It's not going to overpower our lives. It's not going to control our lives, because we have the one true light, and we're not going to face it alone. And then because we have this light that leads to life, no matter how difficult our situation is, we know that we have the Creator, the Redeemer, and the Provider, who is the one true light of the world, living in us. And therefore we have God's presence, protection, and guidance always. When we try to do it our own way each day, rather than following that one true light, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I mess up. I can't make most decisions, most godly decisions without God. It just doesn't work that way. And so not giving God the time that he deserves, not praying and studying God's word, spending time with God each day, there's no way that I can have that light of God living inside of me, shining through me, using me each day if I'm not willing to put God first in my life. And that's one of the things that we learned at camp this week was each morning we got up and we got to spend time alone with God. They each had a book. The adult leaders had a book, and it was called Time Alone with God. And it just went through different verses and different questions and kind of helped us to reflect on our day before, but also prepare us for the day ahead. And that's what all of us as Christians are called to do. We may not verbally say it, but if you get up in the morning and you fail to pray, and you fail to spend time in God's Word, you're verbally saying, you're not verbally saying, but you are saying, God, I don't need you today. I got it all figured out. I'm going to do it my way. And when I need you, God, I'll pull you out of my pocket, or I'll pull you out of my bag, or wherever, the Word is, and I'll talk to you, God, and I'll study the Word, but I got it all figured out right now. And that's not what God wants us. God wants us in His Word. The Word is what guides us and directs us, helps us to make those decisions. We have a belly that we fill up every day with food. We get hungry, what do? We eat, right? Every one of us. Well, that spirit inside of us is hungry too. And it wants to be fed every single day. It wants us to open up the Word and not only just read the Word, but study the Word, meditate on the Word, and allow the Word to be alive inside of us. Hebrews 4:12 says the Word of God is alive and powerful, sharper than a two-edged sword. It wants to fill us up with life. It wants to give us the guidance and direction we need to live each and every day. And so as we close today, I just want to kind of ask you guys a couple questions and give us all time to just think and just reflect on this passage. It's not a long verse, it's just one verse, but I think it's a powerful verse, and I think it's something that we all to really reflect on each and every day. And so as we bow our heads and close our eyes, I just want to give us a few minutes to just think about this question. Is Jesus the light of your world? Is Jesus truly the light of your world? Is he the most important thing in your life? Is he what wakes you up every morning and brings that energy, brings that presence, brings that protection, brings that guidance to your life? Are you in a personal relationship with Jesus Christ? Have you accepted him as your Lord and Savior? So is Jesus the light of your world? And then number two, are you shining the light of Jesus in the world? Are you allowing God to use you so that other people see Jesus in you? By the way that you talk, by the things that you do, by the way that you treat other people. Can people just see Jesus coming out of you? See, one of the easiest ways for us to help people to know Jesus who are lost is when they see Jesus in us. It's hard to go and tell people about Jesus and how much he loves them and how much he can do for them and how much he's changed your life when your life doesn't reflect it. There's a saying that says, share the gospel using words when necessary. And what that means is share the gospel in your life every day. Live out the gospel. Live out the love of Jesus Christ so that others see it in you. And then people are going to want to know, how in the world can you live like that? How in the world can you love other people so much? How in the world can you carry yourself and talk in the way that you talk? And that's your opportunity to share that it's Jesus in you. So as we just close, I'm going to close in prayer. But I just want you to think about those two questions. Is Jesus the light of your world? And are you shining the light of Jesus today? And then I want you to allow the Holy Spirit just to answer those questions for you. And then I want to allow you to spend some time with God. And if you're not right with God, if your answer is no to those questions, then ask God how you can change that, how you can make it right with him. And I promise you, God will give you the answer. So let's spend a few minutes in prayer. Father God, just thank you so much, Lord, for being the one true light. God, for being our protection, for being the presence in our life, for being the guidance that we need each day, God, to live the way you have caused us to live. Father, I thank you for loving us so much and sending the true light of Jesus into the world so that we may inherit salvation. God, I thank you for each one here today, God, and for the message that you have spoken to our hearts, God. Lord, I pray that you would help us to put you first each and every day, God, to make you the light of our world. God, to spend time getting to know you, Lord. And then, God, I pray that you would shine that light out into the world for all those around us to see. God, we know that there are so many who are lost, who are hurting, who are in the darkness. God, I ask that you would use us to shine the light. Use us to be who you called us to be, Father. Help us to love those around us, to serve those around us, to just be filled with your Holy Spirit, God. We thank you for what you've done here this morning, for your word. God, we give you all praise, glory, and honor.